He said, but you have Lewy Body Dementia. And he spent for the first year from that date, I had to go see him every 30 days. He was putting me on some medications, taking me off some, increasing dose, lowering dose, watching me, talking to my wife, talking to me.
Wow.
For the first year, that's all we did.
Wow.
And
you got a real doctor.
Yeah. You know,
not a diagnostician, but a real doctor, not somebody who specialized in one area and couldn't see beyond one organ, one piece of a human being. You saw a person who actually was a doctor.
Yeah.
Boy, they're pretty rare. Well, congratulations and thank God.
In this little old town of Castroville, Texas, you know,
wow.
Population like 9,000. Yeah. But anyway, after that first year, my hallucinations almost came to a complete stop.
Mm-hmm.
Before I couldn't complete sentences. I couldn't find the words. I would be stuck when I started talking. Yeah. He put me on a med that helped with that. Mm-hmm. He put me on antidepressant because I was suffering with real bad depression.
Can't imagine why. Only lost your job, lost your sense of self, lost your purpose, lost
everything.
Yeah.
But it's really amazing. He stays on top of it with Lewy Body Dementia. And it seemed like whatever I'm having trouble with, I go to him every 90 days, unless I have
trouble. Because you're more stable now.
Yeah.
But he's there if you need him.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now it's like if I'm having an issue, we don't call him. We just wait until my 90-day appointment. But it always seems like when we go in there, he'll turn to Linda and he'll say, well, how's this and this going? And she'll say, well, that's what we were going to talk to you about today. It's like he's reading our minds or something.
He's got an intuitive sense. And, that's what some of the best doctors in the world have, is that ability to really look at the people, pay attention to the details, notice the little bits and pieces, the eye gaze, the concerned look. And you say, okay, well, let's see what's going on here. And you get real curious because he's a curious guy. Wow.
But I was so bad before I went to him. I mean, the hallucinations, delusional periods, I was seeing, and this one sounds crazy. I saw we was all sitting out back on the patio one day, a bunch of us. And Teepa, we have frogs here. Okay.
Yeah, you do have frogs. I will give you that. And they're big, ugly frogs.
Yes.
And they will startle you if you've never seen one before.
But I saw one walking across our patio on his hind legs, swinging his arms.
Wow.
And like I said, our telephone post out here, it would just sway in the wind. I mean, I'd just sit there and watch it and it would just sway. And then I was sitting on the toilet here one day, and I hate to say that, it's embarrassing, but I was. And
all of us have to go, Curry. I don't know of anybody. If you don't go, you're in trouble.
Right.
I mean, I'll tell you that right now, y'all.
But I was sitting there and I glanced down at my left leg and it was covered in blood.
Oh boy.
So I grabbed a towel and just started wiping my leg. And I mean, every time the towel would move, I could see blood. Okay. But finally I raised the towel up and there's no blood on my leg and there's no blood on the towel. So I thought, wow, that was a crazy hallucination. And at the same time I said that, the walls of our bathroom started breathing, going in and out at the same rate that I was breathing. And I knew that,
you can know something. It doesn't matter what you know. You feel something different than you know.
Definitely. But I've had that hallucination. I've been out walking the dogs and talking to my wife, at 3:00 in the morning, which we used to do together.
Yep.
And I would be talking to my wife and I would get back inside and, she's still in bed.
Yep.
She wasn't out there with me yet. I was talking to her, stuff like that.
Yeah. So really, Curry, what the courage you had was to continue figuring things out when really people were basically writing things off, even though you knew that if you went along and you did what they said, you were dead in no time at all. And it turns out, no, you've got life to live yet. I mean, it really did turn out, wow, when you get the right support from the right people, the right way, and the right meds and the right program and the right value for yourself, all of a sudden things do turn around and you are now living with Lewy body rather than dying from this occult malignancy.
Yes, ma'am.
And yet what really is sort of happening is you've got this thing in your brain. You can't do much about it. It's going to keep going, but it's a very different sort of life than she prognosticated for you.
Yes, ma'am.
By finding a right person to support you.
I do still have my hallucinations did start back about a year ago. Mm-hmm. They're not as vivid as they were. Now, I've always seen my vivid hallucinations and scary ones stopped. Okay. And I always, but I still see little black critters about the size of a dog or a cat running through our dining room or down our hallway.
Yep.
Those didn't stop. Those started.
Yeah.
No big deal. You know,
I mean, those are not, And the interesting part for you, which doesn't always happen with all the folks I have in my life that live with Lewy body, you can very well, they aren't real.
Yes.
Even when you're seeing them, your logical brain goes, I know those aren't real. Like, there's nobody watching your house and intending to do you harm. And you get that, even though you think you saw some guy sitting there, but that can't be true.
Yeah.
So your brain is capable of that. And the scary part, I think, for some people living with Lewy body is when they can no longer tell, is this one feels very real. Are you saying it's not? No, it's got to be, because see, this is what happened. Sort of like your time in the cab where everything was torn all apart. The only thing that helped your brain sort of go, it couldn't have actually happened, like, I think, because my wallet was still there. I mean, that was the one thing, and you didn't call Linda, which meant something was weird there. That was not, but you were still able to hold it enough. Yeah.
You don't know how many times I would tell Linda, my wife, I would say, hun, it's like I'm watching my body's demise right here in front of me. I really felt like I was dying.
Yeah.
That's how bad it got.
Well, I mean, you can't make sense of it. Nobody's helping you. And you just figure it's got to be something deadly, because the way it's going, it's just getting worse and worse and worse until somebody helps you figure something out. Yes. So it turned out speaking up and speaking out, that was step one. But step two was being persistent, really, at not just stopping when even though you think what you may be looking at is a terminal illness like cancer, don't stop there if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it didn't.
And then step three that I heard was, boy, was it important that Linda was part of the team, because she was able to pull those resources together before you went to visit that guy, the last doc of note, who could, and then, oh my heavens, let's talk about a team that made the difference, because his coming on the team changed the whole story for you. And his curiosity about, okay, they've done all this work, but people missed something here. And it wasn't what they thought they missed. And you could have gone into debt out the wazoo to go to Mayo. And it wouldn't necessarily, because you were going for cancer, you wouldn't still have gotten to the right place.
Right. And
wow.
Every time we went to a doctor or went for a test and then went back to see the results of the test, we just knew every time this is going to be it. They're going to tell us what's wrong. Yeah. And then they would say nothing's wrong. And it was the biggest letdown. I mean, to tell you, because I had all this going on, we knew something was wrong.
I'm not making this because of so many things were delusions and hallucinations, and you knew it. But in your heart, you had to, this has got to be real. I can't be making all this crap up. It just can't be pretend. I don't think it's just in my mind, quote unquote. It's not just something that I'm creating to get out of driving, and I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not drinking. It's not this, it's not that. So your brain was saying, this doesn't make sense.
And thankfully my wife was too. If she never treated me like, I thought I was going crazy.
I'm sure you did.
And she never once treated me like she thought that. She never once treated me like I was going crazy or like I was making things up.
Yeah.
She was right there with me the whole time.
Wow.
If it hadn't been for her, I don't know where I would be today.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't. I'm sure you wouldn't have persevered the way you did, because it took her helping, the two of you working together. And
Teepa, I was so lucky. When I was still driving, my depth perception got so bad. I would pull off the highway to take an off ramp, and there's a stop sign down there. And I always stopped this side of the stop sign. Well, it got to where when I was stopped, the stop sign was nowhere that I could see it. It was back behind me, and the nose of my truck was sitting out in the cross traffic lane. Thankfully, that happened, at 3:00 in the morning, most of the times when I would pull over to walk the dog.
Yeah.
So there wasn't much traffic, but that's how bad my depth perception got. And it got to where I would go to take an off ramp, and, it may be one of those that curves around, and the speed limit dropped down to 25. Well, I would head for the off ramp only to realize, crap, I'm still going 65 miles an hour. I can't take that ramp. So I would have to jump back on the highway, go down to the next ramp, turn around and come back.
And then remember to get off on that one.
I paid real close attention. Once I knew I couldn't take it, I was real careful going down and turn around.
Yeah.
That's what it was like. Yeah.
I had a friend who, she kept saying, she has Lewy body, and she would keep saying, I just think I can drive, until I was taking her to the airport. We were parking in the deck because we were going to take a flight together. And I drove the ramp, and she went, oh shit. I mean, she really said out loud, oh shit, I can't drive this. I could not do this. I realize now I could do a lot of things driving. I can't do something like this. This is scaring me. I need to close my eyes. So close your eyes. And she goes, but I couldn't if I was driving. And it's like, you're absolutely right. But it's that moment where your brain and your head and not everything sort of comes together, and you go, whoa.
Yeah. And it's so bad now. I used to go shopping. I used to do all the shopping.
Yep.
And then it got to where Linda would do the shopping, and I would go with her. And I haven't been to a store in 4 years now. I leave the place here once every 90 days to go to my doctor. The last time and times before, when I went to the store, I would get inside, and between seeing all the people, all the noise, the lights, it would put me in bed for 2 days.
Yeah.
So I just quit going,
Yeah. And see, the thing about you, Curry, is you are a wise man. And I mean that quite, you're very wise, because what you do is you learn from an experience. You don't need to do it over and over and put yourself through it over and over to acknowledge and recognize, wow, I need to change what I'm doing here, because this doesn't make sense anymore to put myself and put Linda through this. We need to do some shifting here. So, that takes, and when I say wisdom, I mean, really, even though it's hard, that letting go of that piece is going to work better in the bigger picture of something.
Yeah. Everything that I do, I try to do, because I know Linda she didn't ask for this. So I really try so hard to make her life easier. I get agitated real easy, which I never did before.
I can believe that.
There's some days she can look at me and she knows not to even say good morning to me, And there's been times when I would just fly off the handle and she would sit down and she would say, look, Curry, this is what you're doing, and this is how it makes me feel. Well, hon, I would never want you to feel that way, so I will try to watch it. If you'll just let me know when I do this, I will try to watch it and tone down. And it works for us.
Yeah. I mean, what I would say is you have a remarkable partnership, and you value this partnership so much that you and she work through things because you like each other.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I mean, you love each other, but you also like each other. And you also like to be without each other part of the day so that you can get together and like each other.
Yes.
Because, you know, being together 24/7 would wear both of you out. Yeah. So as a male, I've got to say, you're a great storyteller. I don't know if anybody ever told you how good a storyteller you are.
No.
Well, you're a phenomenal storyteller. I could sit and listen to you all the time. And I think that's one of the draws. You have a voice, but you also have a cadence, and you also have incredible pieces that when you bring them together, boy, do they paint a picture for us.
I tell you, I can tell you every hallucination I've ever had. I remember every one of them.
Yeah. And see, that's what tricks people. This thing called Lewy, this Lewy body thing, is a different kind of dementia. And if anybody thinks they know dementia and they don't know Lewy, they don't know dementia, because it's the kind of thing that if all you think is, you know, Alzheimer's and you know vascular, boy, are you missing the boat on this baby.
Yes.
Because it's going to give you a whole different symptom profile and a whole different need for support and assistance that should look different, because you're going to encourage people with Alzheimer's to be social and just to create a social situation where they can do that. You put somebody like Curry in a social situation with a lot of people in a restaurant, even if you take the background noise down.
Yeah.
It's going to wear him out to a place where he then becomes incapacitated. But you can put him on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
And he can do well, because when the hour's up, the hour's up. His brain knows that, and it can go take a break without having to have taken his body much of anywhere.
Yeah, I do. After every Zoom that I'm on, I normally take a nap.
Yeah.
You know, can't wait to take a nap.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's, if I said, now we're going to go meet at the radio station.
Yeah. Even riding in a car now, the road noise from the tires run on the asphalt, and the looking out the window and seeing everything go by. I can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, if you're sitting on a patio and the phone poles are doing this, I can't imagine how they'd be in the car. I mean, it just doesn't sound good to me at all.
Yeah.
So today we've really explored with Curry. So how did he get where he is now? And that takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of support, and it takes a lot of figuring things out. So if you're out there and you're a family member, or you're a professional, or you're a person who's living with dementia, or I think I'm sort of like Curry. Well, I'm glad you came, because I think you found one of the most amazing people to get you started that you'll ever run across. So Curry, thank you.
Well, thank you, Teepa. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I hope we can get you back again to talk about something else.
You bet.
All right, everybody. So Curry, any final words for anybody out there?
No, I try to watch Teepa's videos every morning.
Yeah, he's great.
Some mornings I sleep too late and I have to go watch them after it's over, but I enjoy watching them. They're very informative. And also listen to our podcast. Give it a shot. It's Lewy Body Roller Coaster.
Absolutely. And if you're on when I'm on and Curry comments, tell him, hey, and also look at what he says, because he usually has some great information for us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Talk to you later. Curry, thank you. Hi, I'm Teepa Snow, and you just found our YouTube channel and watched one of our videos. I'm the owner and founder of Positive Approach to Care. Thanks for watching. And if you liked, if you have a comment about, or you would, please share it with people you know. Oh, and if you haven't yet done it, consider subscribing. We'll let you know when the next new video comes out.
And you might want to visit our website, www.teepasnow.com, where you'll find other resources as well. See you there.